80% of my time I spend helping adults. But honestly, 20% of my time is kind of my favorite, perhaps, is helping set kids up, our next generation, for a better future than all of us had. It's not our fault if we're waking up one day and we're like, man, we worked so hard, like, but we're still stressed. We're still paycheck to paycheck. We're still fill in the blank, right? The reality is it's not your fault. It's just the way the system's designed. So we're taught, go to school, right? Go to school, get a degree, get a job, right? Get a good career. And then we have a family, we get a mortgage, we start to do all the adulting. And that's when like the quotes come in, life is lifing. And unfortunately, that's where our story sits, as being financially stressed. And I used to think, oh, maybe perhaps I'm the only one that feels this way. Maybe perhaps I was the only one that wasn't taught financial education. Maybe I XYZ, right? But here's the thing. It's not just me, and it's not just you who's watching or your friend that knows about this family. It's our statistics, our like our statistics in society. So we talk about normal. What is normal? Well, guess what? 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know about you, but I used to think, okay, here's the deal. I just need to make more, right? If I make more money, then I'll be good. But here's the problem. Val Smith knows this. 49% of us earning over six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. So if money isn't the answer, then what is? Well, typically it's systems, structure, education, and implementation. But until we get to that, what else is going on in our world? Unfortunately, 44% of us can't even cover a $1,000 emergency. And 77% of parents say they worry daily about their child's future. And I was thinking like, hey, we could stop on the statistics. No, I'm doing page 2 because these ones are super important. College costs have increased by 169%. The average American household has over $90,000 in debt. And most of us know how heavy that can feel. And this one's really tough. This one, I was working with a client last week, and she came to me after seeing a presentation like this, and she said, Jules, that's me. 1 in 3 parents are delaying their own retirement to help their adult children financially. Well, I didn't bring you here just to spout statistics at you and have you get overwhelmed or frustrated or say, yeah, that's me. Now what? Well, now what? Tonight, we're flipping the script. We're going from, as a client once quoted, generational debt to generational wealth. These little girls over here, these 5 are a good friend, client, and team members, little girls. And guess what? All 5 of them have become $1 million babies. And what really gets my heart happy here is thinking about what this next generation is going to look like, to have fully financially independent women, children, right? Who get to make choices because of what feels right and what's right to them versus because they have to, because they're financially strapped. And tonight we're going to go over some options of what that can look like for your family. Before we go over those options, we need to talk about the enemies, because we can't battle enemies if we don't know who and what they are. So first is taxation. Is it yours or the government's? And like, not to get Debbie down or anything, of course, but if we think about this, the government has 3 choices, right? They can lower their taxes in the future. I think we could probably all agree that's not likely. We could leave them the same, or we could increase them. And so we need to know what is out there and what options we have based off of that concept. There's also loss of market, right? So market downturn. I just got off a training today that says the longer that we live, the more likely there is for market downturns. So we need to know what we're battling as far as that. And then procrastination. I mean, like these 2, 1 and 2, we can't do a whole lot about, but I want to take control of my future. And that means that if I can battle one of the enemies 100% all by my lonesome over here, then heck yeah, let's do it. Because time is our biggest asset. So knowing that, and knowing that we want to make an impact on this next generations, what are some options? Most of us have heard of a 529 plan. And in English, that means a college plan, right? Here's the problem though. When we're thinking about what to do for our kids, a 529 plan is only available for college and college expenses. You're like, okay, that's fine. If my kid doesn't decide to go to college, then I guess I'll just use the funds for whatever and I'll pay taxes on it. Here's the problem. If your little one decides to not use those funds to go to college, not only are you going to pay your tax, but you're also getting a 10% penalty. And maybe this is just out of principle, but I get really saucy about this because it's my money. Why am I getting a penalty on it because my kid didn't go to college? That's silly. Well, what else do we have? Most of us have heard of and hopefully have our own savings account. And sometimes we think it's a great option to set one up for our kiddos, and it is. However, it's typically only going to earn 0.03, right? So a third of a percent up to maybe 3% interest, which means it's not really going to grow fast enough to keep up with inflation. Okay. So, what else, right? And that's where tonight comes in. Most of us haven't heard of $1 million baby plan, but it's really fun because it's both simple and powerful. It's parent controlled, meaning that our kids don't have access to it the day that they turn 18. It's our decision of when to transition it from us to them, if ever. It grows tax free. So we're going down those enemies list, right? Checkity check. So tax free, we're battling that. There's no market loss, and it's protected by life insurance, which most of us, we want our kids to have access to that sooner rather than later, but maybe don't want to think about our children having life insurance. This is a great way to wrap it because it's not just life insurance, it's their financial future. And here's the best part. Unlike some other plans, it's not just for college. It's not just for retirement. To quote Val Smith, it's a life fund. They can use it for anything. So they can use it for college. They can use it to buy a home, to travel, for their retirement, whatever it is that they want. Maybe they want to be an entrepreneur like Dennis and open businesses. They certainly could. It's entirely up to the family. Basically, in a nutshell, it's like planting a money tree in your child's name and giving it 20 to 30 years to bloom. I don't know about you guys. I understand it's like October now, so Christmas is kind of around the corner. But back in August, I had a heart attack when I saw Christmas decorations in Costco. Okay. So it just reminded me how quickly life is going by. I know that we're all, tired and we say, oh, Monday's Monday, or oh, it's only Tuesday, right? But the reality is the days are long and the years fly by. We only get one shot at starting young for this next generation. And remember, we're trying to battle all those enemies, and that's the one that we can work on. Okay, I'm sure some of you are like, Julie, that's fantastic, great, good for you. But what does it actually look like? Like, if I wanted to invest in my baby's future, what could that look like? So we've got a five-year-old little girl. We just saw a couple pages ago a bunch of little girls. So let's pick one of those, just 5 years old, and you wanted to invest $50 a month into their future. Just start with that. You might wrap it up later, ramp it up later. But we're starting at $50 a month. At age 18, there's $28,000 in that account. At age 30, we're over $90,000. And at age 65, so when they're starting to think about retirement, just like some of us are, there's over $1 million in that account. And I know that this isn't nothing. I don't want to downplay the fact that it's still $50. And for some of us, that can be kind of tough. But the reality is it easy or is it hard, but is it worth it? And we put $123,000 into this policy. And after they've pulled all the withdrawals out, after it's been paid out to the next generation, the total policy payout is $3.4 million tax-free. Some of you might be like, holy cow, okay. I didn't know it was going to be like that, Julie. I want to do way more than that. Let's do $250 a month. Let's say we start at $250 a month. At age 18, there's over $140,000 in that account. At age 30, we're almost at $500,000. I won't exaggerate. We're at $473,000 at 30. Doesn't mean that they get to use it yet, right? That's up for us to decide and talk about later. But that literally means that's an option for them to have a fresh start. And at age 65, we're looking at a cash value over $5 million. And so again, not easy, hard, but worth it. With this particular example, if we put in, 580,000, the total tax-free policy payout is $17.7 million. Oof. I mean, it's $250 a month. Like, replace my Starbucks habit or my Amazon buy now with one click option. In 580 out $17.7 million. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that likely is going to change the trajectory of my family tree. I want to show you just one specific example because I've noticed a lot of my clients, they don't necessarily go to the $50 a month because they're like, I want to stretch myself. I can totally do a hair better than that. But they'd like to do more, but maybe not 250. So let's do 100. A lot of my clients will start off with $1 million baby at 100. And I just wanted to show you for some of my detail oriented friends how this could look. So we start off at $100 a month, so about $1,200 a year. And what that gives us is what's called a 250,000 face amount. And in English, what that means is if we were to pass away, that $250,000 goes to our beneficiaries. But it also allows us to call this life insurance and still grow cash value. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to look over here on the right-hand side. So day one, if something were to happen to our little one, and gosh, I sure hope it doesn't, but if it did, the 250,000 would go to the family. And I can't think about what it would be like to lose a child, but I do know that at that time, we shouldn't be worrying about money. And this wouldn't solve all of our problems, but it certainly would help. When we get to 18, by the way, we can do some cool stuff like with living benefits, make sure that if they ever had a cancer diagnosis, we would be able to, pull from this. But for now, let's just say that this is the health and death benefit category. But right here is our cash surrender value, meaning it's my money. So it takes a little bit to get going. This is not a short-term plan. This is mid to long-term plan, but the family's paying into it. Mom and dad are the owner for these first years. When she's 30, there's about 230,000 available that they can use for anything they want. No silly 59 and a half rule. No, it's taxable and penalty because there's a college or they didn't go to college. This literally could be for anything. Maybe it's for a down payment on a home. Maybe it's a rental property. Maybe it's a business. You name it, you can pull it in and out, tax free. Okay. This is still parent owned, by the way. So let's say that we are the 1 in 3 family, right? The 1 in 3 parents that are having to help their adult children financially. Guess what? We could use that for whatever it is that they're going through. It's up to us how that's distributed. But let's say we left it. Okay, we left it, and this is going to be their retirement plan because goodness knows what might happen with security. We want to make sure our kids are set up. Well, by the time that we're 65, there's $2.6 million in cash that they have access to. Then we're going to switch over to this left-hand side. I don't know if anyone knows what the parentheses are. Like any ideas? Maybe withdraw negatives? Okay. So what this means is this family is actually having that little 5-year-old girl that we set this up for 61 years ago take out $100,000 of tax-free income year over year in retirement. So, all of our friends and family that are stressing about, can they retire? Should they retire? Will they have enough money to retire? That won't be the story for your family. In fact, she gets a raise over here at 75. How cool is that? We go from $100,000 to $150,000. Yes, please. Again, year over year. Let's say she passes away warm in her bed at 95. She's still receiving $150,000. There's still over 4.9 million available in tax-free cash if they wanted to pull it out and donate to the Dolphins. Sorry, Mandy, I can't get through a presentation without saying that. And there's still over 5 million that we're leaving to the next generation. So the in and out of this, what does this actually look like? Well, move your beautiful faces. We put a total of 295,000 into that policy. And I understand that's not nothing, but also it's over 60 years, right? So fair enough. That little girl, she pulls out $4 million in tax-free income. And when they pass away, there's over 5 million available, meaning that the total policy payout is $8.9 million. So we put in just shy of 300, got out 8.9 million. Pretty cool, no? See, now you know why I love working with adults, but I really, really love working with kids because that is so cool. So I'll tell you, some of my clients, some of my friends, some guests that come here before are like, Jules, I totally appreciate what this is. I love it. I want to do it, but my finances are in a mess. I don't know what to do. I don't have a plan, and I got to put my own oxygen mask on first. Well, heck, let's have a conversation about that. I am happy to help. Again, that's what I do most of the time. And we can have it all. We don't have to choose between them and us. When we put our plan together strategically in place, we're able to do both most of the time. So next steps, you had a great time. Now what? One, you can reach out to the person that invited you here tonight or scan this QR code. And it's going to send me a text message, actually. So if you just scan the QR code right now, just put your little camera over it. It's going to pop up and just click, yes, send. And we'll schedule a time to get together, do a complimentary plan design for your $1 million baby. So, with that being said, I'm going to thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We sure appreciate